Hello everyone, Johnny Hurricane here from GamersHeroes.com, and I am joined today by Smith.
What's up, guys?
And we're going to be talking about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X pricing, or at least what we speculate the prices will be. So go ahead, Smith, tell me what you are thinking price-wise for the PlayStation 5. Just no details, just tell me the number.
In real money, $450.
$450, okay. I'm a little bit higher. I'm at the 500 mark myself. And for the Xbox Series X, I do believe that is ultimately going to be the pricier of the two models. And I think that's going to I think they're going to go a little weird with it. I think they're going to go $520. What are you thinking for the Xbox Series X?
I'll go $480 for the Xbox.
All right, $480. Okay, let's start on the PlayStation 5 and kind of dive into the details that we know of so far. We don't have any specific specs or anything like that, or else we could really estimate the price. But there was a report from Bloomberg, guys who really, they know their stuff, that the component pricing alone for the PlayStation 5 is roughly around $450 per unit. Now that is not taking into account shipping, the retailer's fees, and other fees that they have as well. Now this price is due to the fact that they are competing with new level cell phones, or the next generation of cell phones, so the parts are more pricey. Now that information, what'd you say your price was? You said $450, right?
Yep.
All right. You still think it's going to be $450, or is that hopeful thinking?
It's hopeful thinking again, because one of the things that annoys me most is you'll get it for £450 here and $450 there.
Yes, that is,
which is not the same value, right? That is not the same amount of money.
Pounds are not as expensive, or not worth as much as they used to be, but they still are worth more than the dollar.
Yeah, I can't see them topping. I can't see them selling a £500 console here.
So we all remember the PlayStation 3 launch, which was $600, $599 in America, anyways. Do you remember if it was the same over there?
No, was it that expensive?
Yeah, dude, it was that expensive. The Xbox 360 was $500.
Yeah, there's no way. I don't even know that. Let me check this out real quick.
Okay, that's what I'm remembering, anyways. I had the PlayStation 3. I remember this. Boy, this is a long time ago. I was waiting outside out of a mall, and it was so cold because it was like February, and we got our PlayStation 5 there, or PlayStation 3 there, and it was $600. So with the pricing of the components for the PlayStation 5 being $450, they can sell it at $450, but it will be at a loss. Now, they are willing to take a loss. They have taken losses. They took a loss with the PlayStation 4. I don't think they took a loss with the PlayStation 3, but that obviously came back to bite them in the behind. What factors do you think come into play here? Like, if you had to say one or two things that you think is going to help sell the PlayStation 5, is price going to be a factor, or do you have something else in mind?
Well, just quickly, the Xbox 360 launched here for £210.
Oh, okay, so that's way cheaper. So maybe it wasn't like
it's like a little bit cheaper, and they actually converted the money. Then that seems more realistic, right?
Okay.
I don't know with the PlayStation, right? Because there's VR coming, but it's not coming as a package, is it? It's not coming straight away.
No. I mean, you know, the rumors are all around that the next gen VR is coming with the PlayStation 5, but they haven't said anything about that. I mean, I think they're still quote unquote committed to VR. I think it's kind of on the back burner, so I don't think that's going to be.
I'm not expecting to see a package come with it.
It might, but even then, it would be the old one, right? The older model, the PlayStation 4 model, quote unquote. So
yeah, I suppose so. Things, you know more about the insider stuff than I do, right? When we talk about making a loss on the consoles, obviously they make it back in games, right? Now, obviously, if it's a first-party game, they make a considerable chunk.
Yep.
But how's the relationship? Do we know anything about the numbers between, you know, if Ubisoft put a game on the PlayStation and it does well, how much does Sony get of that? You know, we know some of Epic's numbers and Steam's numbers. Do we know anything of the big console boys?
Okay, so when it comes to physical, I have a little bit of information. I would assume that actually Sony takes a higher chunk. Yeah, we'll just use Sony as an example for this. If, like you said, Ubisoft, they put out their new Assassin's Creed. If it is bought on the PlayStation Store, it should be cheaper, right? It shouldn't be $60 because you're getting a digital. You're not buying physical. The manufacturing cost is gone. The shipping cost is gone, all that business. But it's still the same price. It's the same price because Sony is now taking a larger chunk. Xbox does it as well. So roughly what I believe I recall, now this was like 5 years ago, so this could be totally off. When GameStop got a disc, they bought the disc itself, I believe for, I want to say $48. Then they sell it for $60 and they get a $12 profit. And that is why GameStop specifically is like so gung-ho on selling used games, because they can make 100% of the profit on a $55 used game as opposed to basically pennies on a video game. Now that was a long time ago that Michael Pachter broke it down. So like I said, this could be outdated, but that's what I know from it. And like I said, it's a bigger chunk to the market of either Sony or Xbox One or Microsoft in general if it is a digital sale. So that's how they do it. It's not, I don't like it, to be honest with you. I mean, if you sell a digital game at 50 and physical at 60, you're going to sell more digital. That's another reason they're always going to be $60, is because the retailer expects, Amazon specifically expects to sell their games at $60, right? So if Sony undercuts them, well, now you got a problem with Amazon. So that's why they're both always $60.
It's not really a relationship you want to start trifling with, is it?
Like if it was just GameStop, which is a sink and ship at this point, whatever. But Amazon is massive, so you don't want to do that. So VR is pretty much out. I have played the VR. It's really fun, but I don't think it's not a must-have in my opinion. Not yet, anyways, because I played it at my cousin's, and it is a wired headset. Those things got to go wireless before you can. Right. It's just too much. You need so much room, and the way my office is set up, I don't really have the room. So while we're on the subject of games, actually, why don't we go ahead and what do you think? You think there's going to be any PlayStation 5 exclusive game that launches when the PlayStation 5 launches? That you can think
I don't know. I've sort of kept in the shadows with much of it. You know, there was that one that was revealed. Was it E3?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Not E3. Game Awards. I know what you're talking about. The looter slasher game, Godfall.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, there we go. But the thing is, with these pre, I mean, what was Senua's Hellblade? Second one, fantastic. So there were some games shown, but the thing with that, a lot of those they're tech demos, right? They're showing you what is and what isn't possible. Mm-hmm. I think with me, it's always the same thing. It just comes down to not so much brand loyalty, because I don't consider myself loyal to PlayStation, because it's just a brand, but I'm a PlayStation guy. I like the console better, so I will buy the PlayStation over the Xbox, right?
Yeah, I think that really falls down into where, because I've been down this rabbit hole as to why I like PlayStation so much, and it is a nostalgia thing. PlayStation 1 had so many good JRPGs, and that's one of my favorite genres. That's why, as I'm still associate them with the JRPG franchise. And you can't deny it. Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be exclusive on the PlayStation 4 for a year. Or, well, I don't know about, let's just say the Sony systems. You'll probably be able to play it on PlayStation 5 as well. And real quick, before we move on to Xbox Series X, actually, what do you think? When do you think this is going to release? The PlayStation 5? You think it'll release first, or you think it'll release second? Which one of these consoles is going first, do you think?
I think the Xbox will go first, just based on how much we know about that, at least by now, compared to the nothing of the PlayStation.
Okay, sure. Do you have a month in mind?
I don't know, November.
So
late in the year, late,
but before Black Friday.
Yeah.
So
Black Friday is this November, right?
Yes, that's the last Friday, I think. It's the Friday after Thanksgiving, which is the end of the month. So. All right. Okay, so let's move into the Series X. I'm going to talk a little bit about this from what I have read and what I have been seeing. The Xbox Series X is going to be a little bit stronger than the PlayStation 5 from what I've seen. This has boosted the parts to manufacture this up a slight amount. So the price for the PlayStation 5 is $450 manufacturing. The price for the Xbox Series X was estimated at $480 to $500. Here's the thing about Xbox and Microsoft. They can afford to take a hit. Microsoft is loaded. So if they really want to, and Phil Spencer came out and said that he's not really, the Xbox isn't directly competing with the PlayStation 5. What do you think about that, Smith? You think, come on now.
I mean, I don't know. It's a bit of a some fighting words, isn't it? Right?
It's funny to say that when you're in last place out of the 3, right?
Right, it's just like, we're not competing with you because we're better than you, but you're not, right? So there's an issue there. I love Phil Spencer, though. I actually generally like that guy. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, I met him at PAX Party. He's a cool dude. Real cool dude. But what they said is that they are actually competing with Amazon, which does not have a video game service currently, because they're assumedly going to jump into this cloud business. And then competing with Google Stadia, which, boy, that's a guy you want to be going against right now. They can't seem to do anything right. So that's where Xbox says they are heading. They are in the direction of the cloud gaming thing. I haven't tried Stadia. Smith, I know you haven't tried Stadia. You think Stadia is just going to be a huge flop? Just going to totally go away?
Google is infamous for it. They pump out so many products that just disappear over time. Every time they release it, you think, oh, it's Google, they're going to dominate. What happened to, what was the Google social media platform again? Google Plus, that was it, right?
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right, and there's so much, on almost a monthly basis, they come out with it, because they've got all the brains, right? They've got all the numbers, all the guys, but they just half-ass this shit. It comes out. I don't think Stadia is going to be around forever. I think, obviously, cloud gaming is going to be a big thing eventually. Yeah. I don't think they're going to be a big player in it. Amazon's already doing big things. They've got the engine already. They're licensing the engine out, so there's a lot of stuff going on there. But
Lumberyard.
Yeah, Stadia it's not a competition, right? It's a novelty, right? It's lovely. I can play on the cloud until you can't.
Exactly.
And that's about as best that's got so far.
All right. So I forgot. What did you say? Yeah, nice.
God damn it.
You always forget something.
Right, dude.
What did you say the series? You said 480 for Series X? That's the price you thought?
Yes.
I said 520. I'm a little bit in the higher camp. What I imagine is going to happen now, I think we're both on the same page with this. This is an E3 announcement, right? The price.
Yeah.
Sony's not going to be there.
You think so, right?
Right, yeah, you'd think so. But so I said 520. I think I'm actually going to drop that to 500. I think they're both going to come at 500 now that I think about it. I think they're fine competing on both of them selling at 500. And Microsoft is much more willing to take the hit than Sony is, because Sony, the PlayStation is one of their best performing, what do you want to call it? Best performing companies within the entirety of Sony, right? Their cameras aren't doing good. Their phones are not their, well, yeah, they do phones, but again, not doing good. TVs, not so great. Venom did great, so some of their movies are doing fine, but they don't have as much money as Microsoft does. So I think they'll launch 500 and 500. You think they're, oh boy, how do I put this? So you said that you thought Microsoft was going to release their console in November. Or I mean, Sony was going to release their console in November. When do you think Microsoft's going to release theirs?
I think it'll be about the same time. I think because right now, obviously, we've had more information on the Xbox, right? PlayStation's been a bit quiet. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of rumors sort of saying that they're waiting for Xbox to announce a price before they're going to announce a price, and that seems a bit weird to me.
Yeah, they're playing this weird game.
I know you're competing, right? Yeah, but it's like, it's your company. You need to worry about the profit and the loss, and can you really just base that on your competitors? Is an extra $30 or $40 when you're talking about $500 already really that much of a problem?
I mean, they seem to think that. I don't know.
I kind of feel like you've either got the money or you don't, right? It's not like you've got $499 but not the $510.
Right. It is weird how that works. It's not they've never done anything like that. It's always the $499 or the $399. They're just, I don't know. I don't like this game of chicken. It's really messing with the entire industry at the moment, to be totally honest with you. It's pretty irritating. There is a little bit of good news, though, that when the end of fiscal, this is a couple months out here. End of fiscal is March 31st. That's when the fiscal year ends. And then in April is when these guys have their kind of general meeting about the plans for the year. And at that point, Sony and Microsoft, I don't know if they'll reveal price, and probably won't reveal release date. However, they should get a little bit more into the specs and what the plans are generally, so then we can sort of guesstimate a price to a much closer degree. So
when are you expecting them to launch?
Honestly, I'm thinking September, October, really. That's what I'm thinking. I think Xbox goes first. I think they go first because they want to show Halo. which is kind of like, you know, hey, this is the next generation Halo. Remember when Halo was good? I know there's still Halo fans out there, but you remember back when you guys landed on that first planet and yeah, Halo was good. Like, come back, giving people time to do that. And the other thing is, they want to have that the Game Pass thing, right? They're going to shove that down everyone's throat. Like, hey, listen, we might not have as many games from Xbox, but we have a multitude of third-party games that all work on the Xbox Series X. So I think that's
their trump card, right? Like,
yes.
I love the PlayStation, but you can't argue the fantastic value of that Game Pass. It is absolutely incredible.
Right. And you'll get Halo. I mean, Halo's there. So why don't we talk about this real quick, actually. This has been a little bit of a rumor circulating that the guys that do Forza Horizon, the racing games, they've been working on a new Fable, a Fable reboot. What do you think? What do you think is more likely that we're going to get with the launch of the Xbox Series X? New Fable, or are we just going to get a Horizon? Or actually, Forza Motorsport. Yeah, Motorsport would be what it is this year. That's their other one, which is more of a sim racing game as opposed to the cool open world Forza games.
Wow, because Fable launched with one of the Xboxes, right? I'm not crazy there.
Fable 2 or 3 was the 360, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I remember getting really excited about it. I would definitely prefer to see Fable, but I think that's one of those things where everyone's like, yeah, I'd love to play it, but then they wouldn't actually go out and buy it. I don't know. I would imagine the Forza is already a well-performing IP, right? It delivers every time.
Yeah.
The game reviews highly. It sells well. I don't see why you'd take a potential gamble on reviving an old franchise when you've already got a sure thing with Forza.
That is fair. They do need more. They need more games. Need more IP in general. But I'm with you. I'd prefer a Fable game. They basically killed Fable by putting it on the Kinect, which thank goodness. They don't have anything silly like that that's going to jack up the price this time on their console. Right. So we're good. We're good on that. But yeah, Game Pass is what they're going to be ultimately pushing. I'm saying $500 for both. You're a little bit cheaper, $450 PlayStation 5, $480 for the X, but you still believe the Series X is going to ultimately be the more pricey of the two.
Yeah, that's an English money game, because right now you can get the Pro and the Xbox One X for about $300. Pounds, not dollars.
Yeah, I'd have to look, but I think ours is a little bit higher. That's
right. So it's an extra £150. I can't see them going too close to the 500. That's big money territory. Like that's a decent, semi-decent PC, at least for a little bit, right? Like, it's not terrible. £500.
Yeah. Well, actually, I just looked up the PlayStation 4 Pro. It's $300 here as well. It's on sale, it looks like. So I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm still sticking with $500 each. I think they're both. I know Sony doesn't want to lose money, but they would be willing to, and Microsoft, they can, but again, they don't want to, because you have stockholders you have to answer to. So I'm gonna stick to the $500 on both ends there. I mean, it's not much longer, thankfully, so we'll get to see it. We expected a PlayStation meeting in February. We haven't got one. I don't think we'll get a real price until after E3, which sucks, because here's what's going to end up happening. E3, the price is going to be dropped, and a week later, Sony does their price, and then we get the dates, which is ultimately E3's in June, so you got July, August, September. That's 3 months of prep. Maybe they're both going to launch in November. Maybe you're right. That said, before that, they'll start producing and shipping out, or not shipping, but getting the PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series X ready. So we'll have more leaks, more concrete leaks as it gets closer. So before we wrap this up, is there anything else you want to say about either of these, or are you good to go?
No, I'm good to go. I think that covered most of my points. If you guys have a price idea in mind, what's your limit, post a comment down below. We'd love to read your thoughts.
Yeah, and actually, what I'd also be interested to know if those of you that were around back then that were playing games and could afford consoles, if you bought the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360 at first, I'm interested to know. Because don't forget, Xbox 360 had that red ring of death. That was fun.
Dude, it was so bad.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh my god.
All right, well, that will do it for us. I hope you liked what you saw and got what you needed, all that business. And thanks for joining me, Smith.
Thanks for having me, Johnny.
All right, see you guys next time. Later, Gators.